Hi, I'm Sarah from SEWNZ. Chances are you've come here to have a look how to make the Ballet Shrug, a cute little cardigan for girls that can be worn in a variety of ways as it has an open front lapel area. I have the sample here, and as you can see the front just drapes down nicely, or you can also pin it and just play around with it, have fun. I sew in cream fabric with black thread so you can see what's going on. Let's get started. This is the master sheet for the Ballet Shrug. Sleeve at the bottom, size guide, and the front. We're going to use Violin, which is a interfacing, probably the old-fashioned sew-in one. You can see through it so that you can write out all the information and draw out your pattern. Pattern pieces are cut out, back on a fold, sleeve, we've put the notches in where we require them, the markings, so we know where to gather it, and this is bias binding, which is cut on a 45-degree angle to bind the sleeve. We've pinned the front to the back at the shoulder seam, right sides facing, and we sew from the neck down to the shoulder on both sides. We're pressing the shoulder seam, pressing towards the front panel, and we've already stay stitched the neckline for when we hem it, doesn't bag. The reason we press it towards the front is that when it's on the shoulder you can't see a ridge of the seam. So you've knotted it at one end, and at the other end they are not knotted, and what happens is you take the right side facing the top threads and you tighten it to fit the sleeve head. And when you're fitting the sleeve head, you make sure that you have got your center shoulder marking and you match that up to the shoulder seam and you gather it up till it fits the spot. I've pinned the sleeve to the body of the Ballet Shrug. I pinned at the front, the center of the sleeve to the seam, the back, and then I've just fitted it at the ends. You can see how much there's got to be gathered. I've gathered the sleeve head to fit into the armhole, and I've put my pins in this way so that I can manipulate the gathering as needed, and I've knotted off the end so that the gathering can't undo as I'm sewing. So I've sewn the seam, the zigzag seam, just to the left of the last gathering line. That helps it to undo. So snip in here and pull your threads out, and then we're going to press it. We're going to press the sleeve head, and we're pressing it down towards the sleeve. It's bulky with all the gathering, but you just need to be persistent. We're gathering up the lower edge of the sleeve and we're making it half its width. So I've put a pin halfway between the gathering on this sleeve to measure how much gathering is on the other sleeve. And I've pinned the binding to the bottom of the sleeve edge, and I'm going to sew it on the side that has the gathering so that I can make sure it's nice and even, and I've pinned it with a slight stretch. Pressing the seam of the sleeve and binding down towards the binding. Side seam is pinned. Make sure you pin it at the sleeve seam and the binding seam and the lower edge, and we're going to sew from the lower edge up to the sleeve. That way we keep the seams going in the right direction, and that's the Pukeko saying hello. Okay, ready to press the side seam. What I have done, and this is a trick I do often, is where I know I'm going to hem something, I will just miter off, trim a wee triangle off that so it's not so bulky, and up in the binding area I've made it quite skinny because I know that it'll get folded over. And I'm going to use the trusty quickly made tailoring sausage, and we're going to press the seam towards the back of the garment. Pressing it towards the back. Tailoring sausage is great for skinny seams like that little sleeve. Sleeve binding is pinned under to the wrong side, so I've used twin needle to top stitch this, and I've gone on the edge of the seam that sewed the binding, and once you've sewn it you have to trim away and you get left with a zigzag neat stitch. We're going to do the hem around the neck edge, and I folded it over by 1 centimetre and pinned it. Front edge and hem are pinned in place 1 centimetre, and I'm going to sew it with top stitching. Right, we're all finished sewing, so we're just going to press it. So ironing the seam from the wrong side makes it look fantastic, and we're finished. Hey, thanks for watching. I love doing the videos. As a teacher, it's a great way to make sure people learn how to sew, and especially along with a particular pattern. So if you want to have a look at anything else, there's a link below to the website, to the Etsy shop, to the Facebook. I think there's even an email. Let me know what you think of the video. Otherwise, have a good day and happy sewing!